They just tried to kill President Trump.
They're at the Trump assembly, and there's a guy shooting. He's been shooting up the place.
With 2 attempts at taking the life of Donald Trump and just weeks left for the elections, one can't help but wonder, who is behind all these attacks? Is it really some teens that want to take the life of the former president? Or is it someone or something bigger than we may understand? They are going to keep trying to kill Trump. This is only beginning. This stops only when we win in November. The first attempt. During the first assassination attempt on Donald Trump in July 2024 at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, the gunman reportedly aimed at the stage, and a bullet grazed Trump's ear. Despite the injury, he quickly recovered and stood up, his fist raised in a defiant stance that resonated with his supporters as a powerful image of resilience. The shot to his ear amplified the emotional response to the incident, solidifying Trump as a symbol of defiance in the face of danger. This incident not only unified many of his supporters, but also reignited debates around political rhetoric and its potential consequences. The sniper was aiming for the head, but a last-second movement from Trump may just have saved his life. But hey, thanks to this incident, we witnessed probably the coldest photos from a presidential rally. This incident quickly became a focal point in the 2024 presidential race, with politicians from both sides of the aisle responding. Many Republicans suggested that heightened rhetoric and extreme portrayals of Trump as a threat to democracy fueled this attempt. This narrative, some argued, has led to the radicalization of certain individuals, motivated by a perceived need to stop him. In contrast, Democrats condemned all political violence, distancing themselves from any endorsement of such extreme actions. The attempt sparked a brief pause in partisan clashes. Though the campaign quickly resumed its usual contentious tone, Trump's supporters emphasized this incident as a rallying cry, with many claiming the attempt solidified their resolve and secured Trump's position as a symbol of defiance against the opposition. Ultimately, the rally shooting intensified debates about political rhetoric's impact, raising questions about security, freedom of speech, and the length some might go to influence American politics. The aftermath. This incident, however, raises a lot of questions. For starters, who was the shooter? As it turns out, the shooter was a 20-year-old man who drove himself to the rally, found a vantage point, and took the shot. It was discovered that he also had explosives in his car. This raises a lot of questions about the security measures of the rally. After all, how could such a weapon reach the area? It should also be noted that dozens, if not hundreds, of securities assigned to the ex-president, and an attempt at his life is not a small news. Even if we ignore the fact that the man was able to reach the venue with guns and explosives, another amazing thing happened. Apparently, the members of the rally could see the shooter on the roof before he took the shot. They even made noise, but it was of no use. They even reported it, but it was too late. Another thing to note is that a 50-year-old man lost his life due to the shots taken by this shooter, which adds another layer of pain to the news. The shooter was then taken care of by the Secret Service, but it was too late. An innocent man lost his life, and of course the presidential candidate nearly survived. It was a matter of a few inches. Now the question arises, was this attempt possible due to the lack of security, or was the lack of security made by someone powerful? Before we could make any conclusions on this topic, another news hit the world. The second attempt. In the second assassination attempt on Donald Trump, which took place on September 15, 2024, at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida, the assailant, Ryan Wesley Ruth, was discovered hiding in shrubs while aiming a rifle at Trump. The Secret Service agent conducting a security sweep spotted Ruth approximately 400 yards away. As the agent fired a warning shot, Ruth fled the scene, prompting an immediate lockdown of the golf course. Ruth had arrived at the club early that morning and positioned himself in an area frequently used by paparazzi to photograph Trump, demonstrating a troubling level of premeditation. Fortunately, Trump was unharmed, and the incident raised serious concerns about security protocols, especially since the Secret Service did not conduct a thorough perimeter check due to the informal nature of Trump's visit, as he was not an incumbent president at the time. After the shooting, a be on the lookout alert was issued, and Routh was apprehended later that day on Interstate 95, where he was driving a black Nissan SUV. He was found with an SKS-style rifle that had its serial number removed. No injuries were reported, but the event underscored the ongoing risks faced by political figures and the challenges of ensuring their safety, particularly in informal settings. After the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, Ryan Wesley Ruth faced serious legal consequences. Charged with 5 federal offenses, including attempted assassination, he was apprehended shortly after the incident at Trump International Golf Club. Ruth was found with an SKS-style rifle that had its serial number removed, which shows that he had planned this meticulously. He pleaded not guilty, with his trial originally scheduled for November 2024 but postponed to February 2025. This case reflects ongoing concerns about security for political figures in the United States. The theories. Now, it should be noted that people, especially Trump's supporters, are disturbed highly with all the attempts against his life. Many theories are rising on the horizon, and while we may never be able to highlight their legitimacy, but we can always assume how real they may be. One popular fan theory suggests that Trump's political opponents may want him out of the picture due to his influence and polarizing ideas. As an anti-establishment figure, Trump has rallied strong support for drastic reforms, from reworking tax laws to prioritizing American trade and revamping immigration policies. Some supporters speculate that these bold moves pose a direct challenge to the status quo, unsettling those who benefit from current systems. This theory highlights the divide between Trump's vision for the US and established political interests. This may also explain why the Secret Service may possibly be making evident holes in the security, and both of the attempts at his life were meticulously planned to get rid of him. As absurd as it may sound, people on the internet really believe this theory. Another fan theory proposes that nations like China could have an interest in destabilizing Trump's influence due to his strong leadership stance. Advocates of this theory argue that Trump's America First policies and tougher trade stances pose challenges to countries that benefit from US reliance on global imports. According to this viewpoint, countries favoring a weaker US leadership might prefer someone less focused on making America self-sufficient, fearing that a strong, independent US could diminish their influence and economic leverage. They benefit from a weaker leader for the USA, and it would benefit them in the long run if the reins of the country were in weaker hands. And who's to say if both the opposition and the foreign factors may be working together to get rid of Trump? But there is one more fan theory that puts everything in question. What if Trump organized the attempts on his life himself as part of a grand publicity stunt? Imagine the scenario. Trump, the ultimate showman, orchestrates a near miss just to capture headlines, rally his supporters, and prove his unstoppable status. According to this theory, each incident would be carefully staged to make him look resilient, ensuring the media covers him as both hero and victim. Supporters would be on high alert, rallying around him with renewed fervor, while opponents would be caught off guard. They say any publicity is good publicity, and with a big brain like Trump's, is it too crazy to think that it all may be staged? He gets all the news coverage he wants. People show up in his support, and families line up to sympathize with the hero. That's right, such incidents make Trump the true American hero. The theory spins an image of Trump as the mastermind of his own media storm, a publicity stunt on an epic scale, complete with danger and dramatic escapes. Each incident adds to his legacy, making him the talk of the town and keeping his name at the forefront, even in the wildest ways. However, like all good fan theories, it's just way too complicated to hold water. After all, real life doesn't typically follow a movie script, and organizing something that risky would be a logistical nightmare. So while it's a fun and wild idea, this theory is a bit too Hollywood to be true. But one thing is for sure, 2 independent people, one of whom was 20 years old, mind you, are simply not capable of having such meticulous plans for one of the most important people in the country. There are definitely some external factors that are influencing the attacks. We may never know who's behind all this, but can definitely wonder. The theories surrounding Trump's enemies range from intriguing to downright wild. Whether it's political rivals, international interests, or even the idea of a dramatic publicity stunt, it's clear Trump's actions have sparked plenty of imagination. But in the end, maybe it's best to take these theories with a grain of salt and a sense of humor. This is it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.